Okay, leadership course, guys. In terms of welcome again. Sorry, lambat tadi. The usual boot camp yang kita ada, I think, kind of fucked up by some wrong savings lah. Save with Achilles on, I think, he fucked the whole thing up. Try to recover it because that boot camp banyak kerja masuk lah. A lot of things in there. I'll try to recover it. But anyways, basically what it is we can just do a quick what you call that sharing here. I had plans to do some exercise, but the way the time is going, I think forget that lah. We go straight into it. And yes, don't forget. It's good also that you have a pen and note to take notes, so it will help out a lot. Today, me and Azad will try to help each other to give you a bit of knowledge on leadership. Leadership, what we're going to do is break down into about 5 areas. Okay, now I'm going to start with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. One is the most basic thing. Now, as leaders, we all know leaders. What I mean by leaders will be, of course, that cuts around from the top level of PL, the platoon lead, the squad lead, all the way down to a team lead. Now, the team lead, you can also break down the team into actually no, the team lead is already broken down from the squad. Okay, so you have team A, team B, team C or something. These team leads are also considered as leadership already. Now, when you go into a leadership side from this angle, first thing we need to do, obviously, most of you would know already, we all need to know how to read the map lah. Kalau tak tahu baca the map is ridiculous lah. No way we can lead anybody. So to read the map, senang lah. As most of you know, just a quick one. There are all the grids or the contours, how to look at it to know what is a valley, hill, ridge line, all those things that you know where it's a flat land, where it's concealment, where it's no concealment, where it's open space, stuff like that. You should be able to really catch up from the map right away. So that is of course your prerequisite. Kalau tak tahu baca map, no way you can be leading a squad or a team. Second one, comms is also very important because comms is where you need to speak up. And to speak up, obviously you have to know the what you call it, the comm punya structure. I am you distracting me. See, got them chatting moving around like that. Yeah,
Hey,
you see, I
fast,
said.
sit down.
Okay, comms. I think the usual boot camp will give you the structure. If you want the refreshment of the structure of comms, it's within the file section of the Facebook site. There is one file that I've loaded up. This is the file exactly tells you what I did on the boot camps on communications in terms of the structure of the communication, the ABCs and the the I think if I'm not mistaken the four structures of it. Just look it up and to get a really good refreshment of that. Now, the number three part of the first section obviously is important to be a leader. You need to know not just know, but also understand the usage of all your assets. When you talk about assets, the assets will include obviously your people, that would be your key assets, and then the equipment your people carry. That is also your asset. You have to understand what the roles of each of them would do. Being an MG gunner, what is their role, where their position should be, what they're supposed to do, how far they're supposed to do to help you cover the team and give them the orders accordingly lah. What kind of grenades you must carry. Those are the assets. But beyond that, of the people, the vehicles that you'll be taking on, vehicles will include land, sea, as well as air. For land is you have to know and understand the usage of different types of vehicles, be it armored, non-armored, soft ones like transports, troop carriers, stuff like that. Or you have to really, really understand those. I think to understand it, I leave it to you guys to Google, and most of you would know it inside out also. So those enthusiasts would have read a lot about it. Just don't use the wrong vehicle for the wrong purpose. So, and then obviously you have your your sea assets first. Sea assets would be uh, your what you call it, the ribs, the larger attack boats. We are now also starting to use larger what you call it, destroyers and cruisers. Those are also considered as your assets. So now, That the air side, you have your CAS request, you have the transport request, stuff like that you need to know. Obviously, let's not forget a few more things, which most of the time we forget. And poor Takif last time, you do have drones in the air. Make good use of drones. Don't forget how to what call that, exploit the guna asset itulah. So you have your sea, air, and your people on the ground, right? Uh, Now, that is your first prerequisite, the section of prerequisites on the first one. I'm going to go to section two now. Leaders, you hear this all the time when we start missions. Now, every time we start a mission, most of the time, for the longest time, we talk about the briefing first, right? Now, the briefing on the mission. To date, I think it's free flow. It used to be a lot more structured, but today it's been a while since I've seen a proper structure of a briefing. The brief and debrief. But let's talk about briefing first. Now the briefing is like it's open. You tell you the story, and then you ask questions, and then the questions will come all over the place. And sometimes we miss out the questions. So the easy way to really have a structure, and what this is actually a structure that I think I believe it's the U.S. Army that uses this already. So I'm sure you guys have heard of METT-TCs, right? METT-TC. That means M-E, tiga T, and C as in Charlie. So if you follow that structure accordingly every time, then it'll be great. Everyone will be aligned as leaders. Everyone will be structured in asking all the necessary questions during a mission brief, and we shouldn't miss out anything. M would be the mission itself. You need to know what the mission is about, right? And the mission could be a defense mission, an attack, a raid, a VIP rescue. That's the mission. So you have to ask about the mission. Obviously, the mission will be really brief, lah. But if you follow the METT-TC, the mission comes first. Then after the E is to ask about the enemy. Obviously, the enemy, you will ask things like what do they carry, where they're from, what are their uniforms, so that we can identify them. Any extra info on what kind of vehicles they have, so on and so forth. So now, ME already. The third one will be T. There will be three T's here. The first T we cover is terrain. And the weather. When you say terrain, it covers weather. So you have to cover what the terrain is that you're going into. Is it woody? Is it open desert? Stuff like that. And of course the weather, nighttime, morning, uh, whether it's to be honest, if we would use advanced ballistics, if you do have snipers, it's also important to ask for temperature. Though that's a bit more advanced, but because the temperature itself during nighttime for snipers it does affect ballistics when we are using advanced ballistics. So that's also something you can ask. So whether you have to also cover all that. Now, so your MET, the second T is called troops available. Uh, what it means is for troops available is the troops available for the enemy as well as the troop available for the friendly side. For you, what kind of troops do you have? Do you have a recon that is already out there? Do you have suppressing, what you call this? You have suppressing team. Do you have engineers? Do you have what you call this, independents that are following you? Those are the things that you ask the troops available. The third T is the time. Now the time doesn't mean the two types of the time. The time is about the time right now, which is quite obvious. You can watch, just take a look at your watch, you know. But the time available for the mission, usually the time available is given to you. Let's say it's assumed to be 2 hours. Let's stick with 2 hours because we don't ask this kind of questions in terms of the time. We end up really uh, a lot of times we end up holding up into one specific area for just too long, and we usually don't get to the key objective of the mission. So if you can see there, METTC, of which the last part, the C, is about the civilian, what you call that, consideration. Civilian means obviously lah, laws of wars. Is there going to be civvies? when there's CVs, what kind of CVs, are the CVs friendly, are the CVs angry, would there be any what you call that suicide CVs? That usually some of the CVs will come in with the bomb vest and all that, so that will be also a question about the civilian side. Most of the time, civilians are if it's included, laws of war usually will come into place already, and laws of war will be something that you guys already know lah. So all this MTC is very important. It's a very structured way, and then when you follow this, usually you won't forget anything. Okay. At number this is section 2 already. For section 2, any questions? Not. All right.
Nope.
Nope. Okay. For 1, 2, 3, whatever, I'm going to go through leaders. I think the other thing about the going back to section 1 of the other requirement is that you guys need to speak up lah. Uh, do ask questions, stop me, and if you do think that I'm saying the wrong thing, also try to correct me because I most likely will be wrong in many ways. But most of this I do a lot of reading and I do a lot of other research lah. So but I most likely will make a lot of wrong statements. If you find that something that you read somewhere or you heard from someone or some of you have experience with somewhere else, please do raise your hand or tab it or whatever. Then you just let me know that okay, uh, challenge me. Leaders challenge each other. Uh, if leaders don't challenge each other, you just become followers lah. All
Yes,
right.
man.
Okay, number three. Number three is important. Leaders need to delegate and leaders need to make sure that you have a span of control no more than 5 people. Uh, your delegation into a span of control of 5 means what it is that you would have maximum 5 teams of 5 people you can handle. Any more than 5, you usually have a big problem to catch up already. Now, let's say squad leaders. Squad leaders, you if you do have like 8 people, you need to break down to two, team A and team B. Then you actually have a span of 2, not span of 8. You know what I mean? So squad, you cannot be running 8 people all by yourself. You need to break it up to maximum of 5 people under your control only. Uh, you get one coming? Any questions on that?
Nope.
No, so it's clear that you have to understand that delegation part. Uh, uh, Again, most of us have noticed. I think you yourself also noticed. Sometimes you felt it that sometimes leaders tend to really over micromanage everything. And if you micromanagement in everything, then it's very difficult for you to get things done. So you delegate it to your people. Choose a good second IC, and then when you do a second IC thing, means that your second IC should also be given orders on his task. His task doesn't mean most of the time you say, okay, I have my second IC, but the second IC is tasked only if you die or if you're injured. That's usually the case. Yeah, what I see. But what the second IC needs to do is rather than wait till you pass out, then he take over. Second IC should also be given a uh, that who's Danny? Oh,
Any dealing with KB.
okay, not here. Okay,
I'm with Mick.
so your second IC can be given a task. Let's say I'm the squad lead. I'm going to carry out the task of what my PL given me. Second IC, while I'm doing that, you take care of a team to provide security. Or so his task is to provide security while you read maps or you go on to comms and something. When you do that and you on comms, second IC should take control on the security side already rather than wait for you to die before it takes control, right? So that's also important. Make sure that the second IC knows what it is, or most of you, if you're squad lead, the other person should take a second IC so that you now know the second IC do have tasks to take while the squad lead is still active, all right? Uh, to do all your leadership, confidence has to be there. Now, confidence doesn't mean confidence in yourself, but also confidence to your team leads. So you need to trust your as let's take PL for example. The platoon lead needs to really trust all the squad leads. If you don't trust your squad leads to do their job, and that's where micromanagement comes in, and then the squad leads will start to find, why the hell am I, you know, being squad lead when you're telling me everything to do? So it's like so that you don't, you 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 pretty much control everything. Then there's no requirement of any other leaders, you see. So trust your downliners, be it your squad leads, and squad lead trust your team leads. Let them do what they need to do. Just give them a straight instruction of an order. Then they should know what to do. All right. So keep it simple, short and simple in terms of your orders. Don't give too long and all kinds of what you call this really long descriptions of what the squad leads or what the team leads need to do. So keep it really short, simple, be clear, and be direct. So meaning being a leadership role in most of the military roles. It's not like the corporate world. You know, if you are a manager in an office, you tend to ask a lot of feedback while you're in the field. Here, you have to be clear and direct. There's no time for discussion when you're already in the AO. No time for you to like say, "What do you think?" You tell me what do you think while you're in a firefight. So when you're in a firefight, you just have to be clear, direct. Move left, team A. I need to flank right. That's it. Keep it short and simple. The flanking part, in terms of let's say give flank right, the squad lead would know how to handle it already. You don't have to tell him, Alpha, I need to to flank right. Uh, make it slow towards 100 meters in front, and then make a left hook or a right hook after you see that rock. Don't go all that way to that level. You just say flank right, then you leave it to the team lead themselves to figure out what they need to do for flanking, and let him
Yeah,
take
it's
the
like
people.
clearing a building and all that. You don't have to say, oh, use the left door or use the right door. Just tell the guy, okay, clear that building. They will figure it out.
Okay, clear on that part.
Copy.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right. Now, that being said, the section 3 will be on delegation, span of control. Number 4, section 4, is your plan. Obviously, there are a few parts of plan. There are usually two parts lah. There's a strategic plan and there's a tactical plan. So your strategic plan is very much what is the whole mission about. Strategically, we need to capture an airfield, right? That's your strategic plan. Or deny the enemy of getting ammo from an ammo cache or something. That's very strategic. Tactical is very obvious lah. You start to put your waypoints, avoid certain areas, and then where you set up for ambush. Those are all very tactical plans, and then those kind of plans, you can break it down further to being stealth, being rush or whatever. Those are all your tactical plans. Now these two parts, the planning part, obviously very key area for all leaders. Now planning. Uh, Came also who was it? I think it was Bear that posted up also, which I saw that video much earlier, so which is good. It was a video that has two SEAL teams trying to tell what they do is don't overplan. Um, well, don't overplan means that a plan still needs to be a plan. So even if you have a bad plan, it's better than no plan at all. So you still need a plan regardless, but don't overplan. Overplan means like sometimes it's very obvious lately. All of us will sit down and then we really put too many things into the plan that usually we'll be sitting during the briefing before even a rollout usually takes about half an hour already. After the strategic plan is being briefed, then METT-TC is all that being briefed. After that, on top of it, there's another half hour of planning. That is a little considered a little too over planning already. What you need to do is that you need to go west and just draw a line, and then let's get to point A, point B, point C. Let's try not to make like 10 points or 15 points to go. That's over planning already. You just put one area, because most of the time you have a direct line to point A there's a lot of things may change. So you wasted so much time. Point B, C, D is no longer valid already. So no point going all the way down to like that kind of details. You just need what to do that. Tell them to go east, west, 400 meters. Just draw maybe 3 to 5 maximum waypoints only. All right. Uh, don't overplan by obviously sitting at the arsenal there and start planning to say that we may need some cable ties, we may bump into some prisoners, or you know we may have all kinds of assets that's enemy assets going to come over, so we better take anti-air, anti-tank, anti stuff like that. Yes, anti-tank you may have one or two guys carry. We may have to blow up some building. Those are really really too over planning, in uh, the point that you carry too much things in your backpack. uh, you know that you're going to go for a mission sometimes that will most likely take you like 3 to 4 hours or that. Then you're going to start to put, I'm afraid that uh, this will be a long firefight somewhere in the middle, get hold up in some building, so I got to carry 20 magazines with me just in case. uh, no, that's not going to help you, because it's going to weigh you down. It's going to weigh your team down. You can't move fast. You can't change your plan fast. um, there is air assets that you can ask for re-ammo supplies, or what you call this, equipment supplies, or even medical supplies. Uh, in the last, I think, few months of games, nobody have even asked for any resupply, because everyone tend to bring everything ready. So that's why, for me, as a from the Helang team, I noticed that the transports helicopters really didn't have much to do in terms of trying to resupply you with anything. So what you need to do is just carry enough, light, you can run faster, and then if you run out of ammo, no worries, you can always ask for resupply. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
that's the planning part. Questions? Anyone have any things to share from your own experience? Things that you want to you think you can have some improvement that you have come across in terms of experience?
How
Ada tak?
about planning
Yeah, easy.
while on the go?
Or is that planning while on go? That's planning. It's inevitable. Planning on, you will have your main plan. Like I said, a bad plan is better than no plan. You would have a normal plan, A, B, C, point A, point B, point C, and I can guarantee you lah, before you reach point B, you have to plan on the go again already, because I hardly see something that goes as planned. And
Mm.
obviously, everything that goes on as planned, and the mission will be over in maybe 1 hour, and obviously the mission maker would be damn pissed lah. Like what the hell?
We have to assume that everything that can go wrong will go wrong.
And so far, it will go wrong most of the time, because it's like, you just get a map and then you have a mission, and there are people, sometimes you can expect certain things, but no, usually don't. Like, there were times that as a cast with Tengku, you here? I saw you outside. He's not here. He was on the team
Yeah.
speak.
No.
I did text him. Well, anyways, Tengku and I, we were in CAS, I believe in Apache. Uh, One of our holding points to get eyes onto the AO was a hill on an abandoned castle. By the time we get to the castle, it wasn't abandoned. Bloody hell. It was said abandoned, but it wasn't abandoned. Next thing you know, we were hovering for a while. They came out from the castle and started shooting at us. And that was our point for giving you guys ISR on the ground. Uh, Immediately, that plan went to shits. So we had to, in fact, we had to defend first and start blowing people up on the castle, and then start to think, okay, that place is not safe. We have to redirect to a second, what you call that, holding point. Of which, yes, that's a good one. The the plan, almost forgot. You which I'm actually going to the fifth part also. I'll cover it that in that part. But plan needs to have an alternate plan in your pocket. That means you
Yep.
have to have
Backup plan,
a fuck up plan that,
contingency.
yes, it has to have a contingency plan in case this happen. Let's do like LZs, you have alternate LZs because your main LZ may be hot. You already pre-plan on the alternate LZ because when you were flying, uh, and you get a hot LZ and people are firing at you, you cannot just switch to your map and start figuring out where to go next. You would already know switch to LZ2, and just like on the ground, waypoint 1, waypoint 2. Now you have waypoint 1, waypoint 2. There will be some area that you have a alternate waypoint if you need to, or at least already a backup plan that say if I'm going like direct east, assuming let's say 9090, but in your head that you may have to divert it slightly to 120 already in case anything happen, or go up slightly towards the north, which is maybe 060 instead of 090. So you have that in your mind as a leader. As a leader, you don't have to. This is where you put it in your mind. You don't have to tell your backup plan to your team members. It will overburden them. But you have to have it as a leader in your pocket. All right?
Like,
Also, Panzi, when we're talking about planning while on the move, this is where your delegation comes into play. Okay, you as PL, kalau you PL, if you're PL at the moment, you're planning. So leave the rest to your team leaders. Macam kata weapons, loadout, dia orang pada pandai lah. Okay, you have to put your trust in them and you just plan what you want to do. Okay, on the second hand pula, if you are maybe the team leader or squad leader, while the PL is planning, police your men. Okay, tell them, okay, you dapatkan apa, ni equipment apa. I tak kisah sikit-sikit a small amount of playing around, but limit that. Okay, make sure everybody gets their equipment ready and stand by untuk dapatkan arahan. Okay, and Panzi, while on the move, once you've gotten a plan, terus announce everyone, okay, clear comms, listen up, this is what we do. Okay, and planning secondly involves what do you call it, sharing our plan or giving our plan to our people, briefing our men. Okay, kalau issue plan ni, kalau boleh as much as you can give as few details as possible. Just make sure the important facts are in. Jangan overburden macam Gadget cakap, jangan overburden the players. Okay, takut nanti dia orang pun macam no, just give them the details that you need to give them. That's it. Be firm. Okay, kalau katakan ada, and also be open lah. Katakan ada team leader kata, oh, aku rasa this jalan tak selamat. Can we use another lane? Consider if they've got a point, relent. If they haven't got a point, then cut them off. Tapi don't get into a fight about this. Kadang-kadang, there's a saying, too many cooks spoil broth. Ramai sangat nak bagi input, last sekali plan tak menjadi. So that one you should take into consideration juga. Dia for myself, I ada dua cara untuk brief on the move. Satu, I brief directly pada squad leader, and squad leader akan brief ke bawah. Ataupun secondly, I brief everyone terus, so everyone gets a plan. Either one is applicable. Tapi usually you give it to your squad leaders lah, senang. Okay, sorry Gadget, go ahead.
Okay. For planning, one of the techniques of planning also is that you cut the plan. This one most likely for people like this would be more for towards the platoon lead. If you pick up a role as platoon lead, each of you should at least take a platoon lead once or twice minimum, because
Belum.
because without going through at least once or twice, you were not gone through all this part. Obviously, yeah, maybe you should be team leader and then you go up to squad leader and then you do a PL. But yeah, it's don't be intimidated because I think for new people who step up to be a PL right away, we usually open up and say, yeah, good for you, let's do it. And it will be a mess, but you will have squad leads, they are experienced that would be able to help you out already. Again, like I said, don't be afraid to be a PL. Just pick it up. Experience on the go. Actually, do give you a lot of confidence, and yeah, he says it's not that bad. Actually, really not that bad. The thing about it is that a lot of PLs that go out there, new ones, tend to think too much, and not to mention, uh, you tend to not be able to shoot once in the whole entire mission. So that's a lot of map reading and radio only. So but that's the good thing about it. There's a different way of playing lah. Planning also, one of the good techniques is cut your plans into what we call phases. You have phase one, then phase two, and phase three. Phase one is more of a insertion to approach a certain line. Okay, and if you hit a certain line, you pass that line, you call it passing phase line one. Then your team will, let's say you draw a phase line where it is that it's still very friendly. Let's assume if you open up your map, let's just all open up a map. Okay, if you all open up your map, you see where we are, right? At the airport, everyone have eyes on it.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay, let me see if I do blue. Now, let's say we're moving north and going towards Attira, right? So let's say Attira, you just draw a line here and call it phase one already. You can name it on the side there, say this is phase one. And then you move to here, you put a different color or whatever it is, it's called phase two. Once you pass this, you call it phase three lah, right? So now phase one, you could say that phase one is more of a walking pace, or it's more of a jogging pace to get to where you need to get, or you just use your vehicle to get to phase one. Once you pass, uh-huh,
Excuse me,
go ahead.
Gadget.
Yo.
We don't see any marker.
Wait,
I think you need to set it on global. They can't see it if it's
yep. All right. Let me just redraw it.
Right.
Okay. Can I
Okay.
just jump
Yeah.
in
Go
quickly
ahead.
on that one?
Go ahead.
Surah,
Yes.
that was a good call. Okay, guys, this is important. Click and make sure your man, kalau katakan ada mission, ada info yang tak sampai, tegur. Okay, it does happen. Sometimes I lose comp. Sometimes kita salah marking. Orang tak nampak. Tapi if everybody say okay, then you'll never get the idea. Okay, so kalau ada kesilapan itu, you just step in. Very important. Right, sorry Gadget, go ahead.
All right. Good point. Thanks, Asra. Okay, now I was just going to draw a blue line. Let's say this is phase one, right?
They will see it now.
You see phase two. Everyone sees now, right?
Yep.
Good. And you see further up towards the northwest side here, that will be phase three. So the good way is to draw lines and consider it as phase one, phase two, phase three. I do see people drawing a lot of lines in terms of boxes on the town of Atira like this. This is good. So these are good ways of doing in terms of sectors, right? But sectors are very good because it's a quick way to move to sector one, two, three. You call CAS in. I need CAS on sector four. It's a lot faster that way. But you could improve it by putting phase line. Phase line, let's say the one at the bottom one towards the southeast side, the first phase, you can say, okay, towards phase line, I need everybody to be in vehicle at close formation, more, take it up to about spacing of, let's say, 50 meters apart and maximum speed of 90. So you say phase one, right? Once you pass phase one, you can put a different vehicle, what you call it, because you're moving to, let's say, Gravia. Gravia is unknown. So unknown, let's say you start to spread out your vehicles further apart, not too close because you never know. So let's say now instead of 50 meters, I need everyone to go to 80 meters past phase one, and this time I need you guys to slow down from 90 now to about 60 km/h only. So what it is that people really clearly know what to do next already. And the lead vehicle, when he passes phase one, he usually goes on comms and says passing phase one. So when he says passing phase one, everyone would know already. The second vehicle, third vehicle, and probably they all be prepared to start to spread out their what you call this, their spacing and so on and so forth. Then you maybe reach to like phase two is where you dismount. Phase two is that passing phase two, dismounting, and then from here you go on foot, and then you give your spacing, so forth. Then after that, once you attack Tira or whatever you need to do, and then you have to continue to move up northeast, and then you pass phase three. Is more of a more relaxed because once you pass the enemy area. So the egress, that means getting out already. After your mission finish, you got to get out. You move towards phase three. Pass phase three, the person say passing phase three. So passing phase three could mean that you entered friendly territory again. So there is one technique that a lot of people tend to use, but I have not seen many people use that in our games. So use phases as a good way. Sectors that you do, that was also a good one. People are already doing it, so just add it by phases. Any questions from there? So
Ada.
tak ada, everything clear. If you guys, aku boleh, I'll stick with English. If you tak faham sikit, you boleh please tanya. Don't feel intimidated. Please tanya, and I can mix it up. If I can't say it, then Azad will help me. No issue. All right. Sure, all
Okay.
clear.
Rapi.
I'll stick with
Okay.
English as much as I can. Now, that being said, now we're going to the one important part also, which is the sector 5, which is called a basic platoon marching order. You don't have to think so much, just think of it of marching order lah. Now, just now number 2, section 2, which is called METT-TC. You all took that down, all right, in your notes. This one I need you to take down also because this is a good order for you to plan. It will take about 10 points of the order. Number 1 is your starting point. You need to know where we're going to start. Very basic. It's most likely in terms of a starting point at the, assuming that it's a starting point from the base, most likely lah. Right? You have to know where number 2 is where your ingress point right there. Ingress tu masuk tau. Your masuk punya point into the area of AO already. So from starting point to ingress point, most time is that whole area is still friendly. Atau chances of being attacked is not say 100% friendly, but chances of being attacked or being engaged mungkin dia kurang dia punya percentage lah. Dia punya what you call it, chances tu is not as high. But once you pass the ingress point, the ingress is where you start to masuk already. From the ingress point, you start to number 3, plan your route already. All right. So if you notice what I'm saying, when you only plan your route after the ingress means from point A starting to point B ingress, you can just draw a straight line. Tak payah waypoint, right? Once you hit the ingress, that's when you start putting your waypoints ready. That's your route. Route could be a single route for one whole entire big team, one platoon jalan saja, or you can split the route. Squad lead Alpha and squad lead Bravo will start to take different routes, macam splitting already. And most of the time it's good to split. But the splitting part punya jarak tu jangan terlalu jauh also. Because usually what it is when you split Alpha and Bravo, you still need to figure out or to allow them that Alpha boleh support Bravo kalau Bravo kena attack atau Bravo gets support by Alpha kalau Bravo kena attack each way. No matter which way, you still have to have a certain jarak tapi not too far until each team tak boleh support each other. Unless the mission has a two completely different mission. Alpha ada satu mission, Bravo ada mission lain. That one is different. But when you have one single mission and you split the team, the jarak shouldn't be too far. Okay, so that's where you start to plan your route. You can have single route and you can have double route. Kalau ada 2 team, kalau ada 3 team, you can split to 3 route pun boleh. Okay, number 4 is your egress. Okay, the egress is the keluar punya point. Ingress tu masuk, egress tu keluar. So when you buat you punya route sudah ada 2 route, then that route will take you to the objective point. You do your mission. After your mission, you mesti ada satu tempat yang untuk keluar, which is your egress point where you most likely will have to rendezvous semua team untuk prepare for egress. Alright, a lot of egress tu sometimes banyak tu kat pantai ada satu boat tunggu, you egress the pantai there, then you keluar dengan boat. Or it could be an egress whereby a pickup by a LZ point, which could be an egress where you'll be picked up by air. Or you could just, egress point, you hit one area to combine, and then on foot kita semua lari, into a point. Now after egress, obviously there is the last number 5, is you have to have an end point lah. Mana tamat lah. The end point is like from the ribs that you get from the pantai, you have to go to a carrier. So that's your end point. Once you sampai tu, that's when you do the brief lah. So that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is more of a most basic uh, marching order. If you do that, I think you are very, very structured, and you will be very, very effective in leading, because you know what you are doing. Your people under you tengok, oh, tabik pun, they will be happy to follow you because you seem to know what you are doing lah, right? Even you don't know pun, you cakap, wah, number 1 starting point, number 2 they also you cakap pun canggih sikit lah. So now, after number 5, the consideration of what I mentioned, 1 to 5. Number 6 is what kind of formation you have to have, and the type of order that you have to have. Meaning your formation too could be phase 1, semua go on a line apa tu, column formation je. Satu line kat belakang, satu column jalan sampai sana. Once you hit phase 1, split into 2 teams, 2 routes. Route A for Alpha, Route B for Bravo, and I need you to now split into a wedge formation. Alpha, Bravo go into wedge. That means you are going on a sweeping area and ready for contact already. Okay, so your formation depends on what you need to do. All right, friendly area usually just column only. Tak payah. Get to, or that's the fastest way to reach to the point is a column. When you go into a formation that is no worries, Calvin, go ahead.
Yep, sorry.
You can pick it up again, no issue. I'm recording anyway, so just watch the video. I'll put it up on YouTube. All right,
Alright, sure thing.
see you. So the thing, I wish you could walk out the door and do that behind before he just die in front of us. Anyways, the formation. So as leaders, I think you all should know all the formations that you need to do, right? I mean, all the formations, the V formation, the wedge formation, the column, the line. Uh, to be a leader, you need to know all that already. So look it up. There's actually the boot camp that I used to conduct on formations itself. I'll do it again. This time it's leadership, but since everyone wants a leadership first, I do leadership lah. But otherwise, do the what you call it, just look up the formations. It's quite straightforward, but understand the reason of formation. Why is it why is it a wedge? Why is it a column? If it's a wedge, is it a very what you call that? Is it spacing besar punya wedge atau spacing kecil punya wedge? Why is it besar? Why is it kecil? It all depends on the terrain and the speed.
Excuse me, kejap.
Ya, surah.
Can you yelling mode?
Oh, kejap.
Because Amirul behind.
Okay,
Can
boleh
hear you.
boleh dengar sekarang tak? Better?
Oh, sorry. Saya ingat nanti SI pun.
Oh, I thought. Okay.
Kakak
Sorry
aku
about that.
duduk lagi depan. I think everyone should have taken a
Di atas
radio. Ada semua orang ada radio.
Dia duduk tengah, yang lain pusing dia.
boleh
Kalau ada radio, aku boleh cakap dengan radio kalau mak. Okay, if you want radio,
60, channel 60.
60.
Aku tengah makan nak buka radio macam mana?
Ah,
Salah orang.
My problem.
semua ada radio 60 eh.
What the fuck?
Terkejut ai. Oh, kejut.
Dah.
Okay, okay, gadget sit lab.
Radio check 60 boleh ya.
Okay.
Copy. Okay, everyone can hear now. Yeah, someone on the speaker. Yes, you are echoing me. Test. Okay, that's good. I still hear myself on yes. All right, good.
Mic check 1 2, mic check 1 2.
Ya, 5 cari.
Yes. Your mic.
Mute mic sementara.
Bukan yang dia punya ni.
Ya, you feedback. Okay, yes, you boleh mute you punya mic pun cukup. Orang cakap je, open the mute. Alright, that's good. Masih dengar lah. Tak apa, I'll try this. Where was I? Okay, formation. So understand your formation, right? And the formation order, why you use it, what kind of spacing, how fast you want to go, how slow you want to go, all this and that. Your bounding overwatch, semua auto, you have to understand. You all know what is bounding overwatch and bounding travel bounding, right? Tahu tak?
Yep. Some
all
of
those.
us, I think.
Okay.
Tak tahu. Aku tak
Dari
tahu.
mana
Tak tahu
refresh?
travel bounding.
Travel bounding, okay. Dia ada dua type of travel bounding. Overwatch atau lagi satu is travel. So Overwatch, let me see if aku ingat pun lah. Aku sudah lupa lah. If it's Overwatch, correct me if I'm wrong. Overwatch macam dia lompat katak tau. One was move forward, stop. Then two will move forward, pass one, lebih depan, stop. They will pass. Then number one again will stand up, pass number two, lagi 50 meter, then stop. They will pass each other. That's the Overwatch. Now traveling is dia tak pass. That means let's say one stand up, move forward, 100 meters, stop. Then two bangun, reach number one, stop, number one bangun, and then depan again. You get what I mean? Dapat tak? Jika tak dapat, you open your map, aku do a quick one. Okay. Now, blue is one. Let me save it. How do I do this? Okay. Left side, this one. Okay. That's yes. Now that will be number one. Then the other one is number two. Now, bounding overwatch would be one akan jalan, stop sini. Two akan jalan, pass one, stop sana. And then one will pick up, pass two, stop sana, and so on and so forth. Clear?
Clear.
Yeah.
That's called overwatch, bounding overwatch. Travel overwatch will be this. Left side one will run depan, okay. Two will jalan sampai sama dengan one, then one pick up again, like that, and two pick up like that, again. Get it?
Okay.
Okay.
Macam tu. So
Satu akan lead lah.
satu akan lead, dia akan sampai saja. Now, I think I'm just okay. It could be both ways. Let me refresh. Aku pun lupa dah. So why this is happening is because of speed. Okay, dia punya beza tu is the speed. For the one tadi yang pertama ni yang Overwatch, dia punya speed lebih cepat tau. Dia akan sampai tempat yang mesti sampai tu lebih cepat daripada yang travelling tu. Get it?
Yep.
Dia punya beza tu is the speed saja. Of which I think at the end of the day when you do bounding means that means dia sudah ada expectation of musuh dekat already. You don't do bounding untuk style to get to where you want to go. Kalau ada musuh, then you do it. You waste a lot of time. Dah, aku erase dulu. Okay, out of map. So now as a PL ke, usually this is a PL. The PL will call and say, okay, if after phase 2 or any time, suddenly the PL say someone dapat satu laporan tu ada musuh dekat. Aku nampak laporan tu, aku nampak musuh jauh sikit lah, jangan dekat tu is ambush already. So let's say musuh 700 meter. So musuh 700 meter, PL usually say, okay, everybody down. Then tiba-tiba musuh tu sudah hilang tau. You tak nampak dah. Dia masuk itu hutan ke apa atau or past the dia punya ada bukit kat belakang ke apa, you not sure. That's when the PR say, okay, you know sudah ada musuh dekat sana, but dia kat tengah-tengah kita punya path tau, kita punya direction tau. But you have no other ways, or it doesn't make sense for you to do a alternate route, and you find that it's still okay to move because the musuh tu tak banyak, dia kurang, you punya force lebih besar daripada musuh, you jalan je. So what you do is you as a PL you say, okay, from here we do bounding already. So you call it a bounding overwatch, or kalau orang tak faham because they are new, just call it bounding lah. Okay, when you do bounding, people should know how to do it already by right lah. If you need to do more training in boot camp, kalau you guys get a chance to talk to new players, you can teach them the bounding. All right. Okay. Uh, that was number 6, formation and the way to get there, the orders and all that. Number 7 is the pace. Dia punya how you say pace? Cepat, kecepatan. Yeah, the pace of it. So the pace is whether it's a in other words, oh shit, they left me alone. Okay, the the pace is means that if you need to be walking atau jogging atau rushing or running, that's the pace. So usually macam getting to a phase 1 tu is like tak ada musuh, you just jogging je lah. So that's your jogging pace sampai sana. But once you pass phase 1, there is an area whereby it's unknown. There may be musuh. That's when you start to do walking pace untuk buat patrol already. So pace is number 7. Number 8 is obviously spacing. Spacing tu is like kalau you friendly area, spacing is closer lah, jangan jauh sangat. But when you get to an enemy territory already, dia punya spacing obviously is clearly that you jangan buat spacing yang dekat-dekat. You mesti spread out sikit so that when the enemy attack, you don't get bunched up and you don't know what to do. So bunching has been back to quite common lately. Dulu is a lot more discipline in terms of getting the right spacing, mean jauh sikit. And now suddenly spacing has been getting closer and closer and closer as I notice. Right, everyone get to bunch up. Yo,
Can I add one thing about the pacing as now?
go ahead.
Okay, guys, pacing is very important lagi satu when you consider usage of weapons. Okay, it's also important to consider loadout yang anda bawa. Macam if you have a lot of items, even jogging pace can suck a lot of energy. So why is this important? Because when energy goes down, dia naik balik lambat tau. If you notice so far as we played, when your stamina is almost in the red zone, it doesn't recover as fast. 1. Number 2, your combat effectiveness becomes lower because aiming goes off the charts. Okay, kalau korang guna rifle, tambahan pula kalau we're talking about Vietnam War, World War II, where there's no attachments, no other improvements to help you stabilize the weapon, it becomes worse. So take that into consideration when you are marching. Kalau katakan weapon load kita tinggi, we're talking about 40 kilos, 35 kilos, consider that you will weigh down your man. And kalau jogging pace tu dia punya energy dia akan set berapa banyak. Usually for myself, whenever we are travelling, I inform my point man, okay, if you're going to jog or if you're going to run, make sure sampai 3 bar saja. Okay, your stamina bar, so that it doesn't risk your accuracy when we come into contact. We don't want to be in a situation where kita tengah red zone, stamina tengah nak out, tiba-tiba enemy muncul, dan dia ketembak mata-kata. Okay, so it's very important to keep that in mind when travelling. Pacing pun jangan lupa factor of our equipment we're bringing. Okay, I think that's about it, guys. Sorry.
No worries. Anyone else to add to that? Ada tak? Okay. So pacing and spacing, okay, the spacing too also is very important. Now you have to understand the pacing and spacing also depend on terrain. Kalau dia punya terrain is hutan punya terrain, obviously punya pacing tak boleh lari because it's too many things in front of you, and the spacing akan dekat lagi daripada open space. Open space you have no choice, but I mean you should not be too bunched up. But in hutan area, if you too far away, you get lost because you can't see each other. So the spacing tend to akan kecil sikit lah. Or you going to what they call contract lah. From an open space, you masuk hutan. From a bigger space, dia akan contract kecil. Okay, so those are things that you have to understand in terms of how you need to get your people. So when you say as a, let's say as a squad lead, uh, open space, what you call is wedge formation, you punya akan letakkan jarak tu as each person should be at least 20 meter apart on open space so that you don't get killed by one grenade lah. That's obviously, and when you get suppressed also, you all get cover down, and your cover down, you can't even split your team to at least flank pun tak boleh dah. Everybody is under one focus point. So if you from open space, when you enter the tree line and masuk tu hutan, obviously you as a squad lead, you can say okay, close up the spacing sekarang 10 meter saja. Then everyone will, you see contract dia punya spacing dah untuk 10 meter instead of 20 meter because it's hutan punya area, you cannot be too far. And you'll be surprised, I mean, well, I won't say you'll be surprised. By right also, if the hutan tu tak tebal sangat, you boleh continue wedge. Tapi kalau dia punya hutan tebal gila babi, you have to change you punya wedge into a column dah. That means it becomes a line. That means the person follow the person in front dah. Kalau tak ada, you kan hilang punya. Right? So those are the things that you need to pick up as leadership. You have to know all these reason why you use this and why you use that. So to be a leader, I suggest you pun boleh masuk YouTube ke atau Google ke apa, just type up formations and all that. You get tons of stuff to understand why you use, when you use. Number nine. Number nine is the ROE, the regulation. Obviously, as a leader, you have to say everything fired upon fired, atau weapons free, atau laws of war. There will be civilians. So ID your targets. Those are things. Those are ROE, right? Clear. I think that's quite clear everything. But never forget ROE. And let your people know the ROE. So let's say we go masuk dia punya bandar tu, you say okay guys, ROE is civilians around, I need you to ID target and report to me before you open fire. To ROE, you have to tell them, because if you don't tell them, obviously you know what will happen lah, right? All hell will break loose and all that. So if you tell them, at least they know. And if they tak ikut tu, you ada hak marah lah. If you tak cakap tu, then orang tembak, you marah, is like actually it's your fault, right? And the last one, number 10, is that you have to know your objective. If there's no objective, why are we going into the town without the objective? Your teammates too akan get very confused. The objective can be split into many ways. The objective is an ambush, offensive ke, raid ke. Are you supposed to secure and clear ke? Or you're supposed to even some of the objective is just to delay the enemy and deny the enemy. You know that okay. That as also sometimes as a PL, you can say okay, Alpha, I need you to delay the enemy. Bravo, I need to set up all your charges in the objective to blow up some asset ke apa tu. So Alpha will know that their mission and their objective is to delay the enemy datang je, you make sure they tak sampai tempat tu. So that's to delay. Okay, or you make sure that you deny them from getting ammo from an ammo cache. That's the other thing. So that is one of the objective. The other objective you can think about is that okay, Alpha, I need you to suppress north, suppress north je. Then they will just sit down and open fire north sampai the enemy tak boleh gerak. Bravo akan flank dari kanan. Okay, so then that's also another objective, a very clear objective you need to. Okay, one of it also, another way of an objective is to retrieve. Retrieve is to go and get something lah. Retrieve that truck or retrieve that missile carrier ke apa, retrieve that gadget that has information on that laptop ke apa. So those are all the things to retrieve. That could be a mission and your objective. Retrieve a laptop from one of these building kat Bandar Atira. That is your objective. Support is also another way of saying objective. Bravo, I need you to support Alpha. Tu je. Alright.
It's very important that you share your objective with your men, ataupun at least let them know what the objective is. Jangan sampai your men tak tahu apa dia buat. Okay, kadang-kadang kita order some people, some of them understand. Dah biasa kerja dengan you, okay, cover that house. They cover lah, but they don't know what they're doing. So kalau boleh, try to share some of that to your men so that diorang tahu, oh okay, I'm doing this because of this. Okay, contohnya, okay, apa, team cover this building. Okay, keep eyes on the north side. Kalau you bagi arah macam tu, okay lah, dia keep eyes on the north side, tapi tak tahu apa yang jadi. You can tell them, okay, keep eyes on the north side, possible enemy incoming from the north. Then dia tahu, okay, I'm going to look for the north and cover this area. Dia faham objektif sebab dia. The worst thing you can have is a man that follows you and don't know what he's doing. Okay, you have to keep them updated. Okay, and trickle that down. Daripada PL pada SL, SL pada TL. TL pada anak buah dia. Okay? Alright, sorry Gadget, go ahead.
Tak payah sorry. Alright. And finally, one thing. This is one thing I tell you I have to say that almost hardly I see, almost like less than 1% that I've ever seen people do. As leaders and in the games that we play, most of the time we make decisions to move forward only. We have never, hardly I see leaders give a retreat call. As a leader, one of the orders is also to retreat. If you find that the place is really koyak already, or the plan is not going is not just going the way it's going, you can call or all call signs. I need you to retreat now. Retreat, balik dia. Abort. Tak banyak. I've never seen everyone ask to abort, right? But to abort, you also have to put. You can call an abort on the go, or before the mission begins, you can also set abort criteria already. Let's say as a PL, I need you to abort only if 70% of your men is down. Macam tu. So then you already set dia punya abort criteria kat depan-depan dah. So most of your squad leader know that there's already 70% of the men down. Don't bother trying to attack lagi. You abort or you retreat. You retreat to point A ke point B ke, leave. You have to figure out how to get the people who are down, 70% people who are down from but you need to get out already. No point trying to save and then die yourself. And usually most of the case, the whole entire squad will just perish in one area. That is too hot because leaders have forgotten to ask them to retreat. Okay. Let's not forget about that. Okay. So now, other than that, I think I covered most of it. Set alternate routes. Let's not forget. LZ also. If you guys are PLs, platoon lead, instruct your air wing apa to the usually halangs to let's not forget your alternate LZs. Right. That if the first LZ is hot, you have a second route to get though. Now, once after you do all your planning and all these criteria, objective already, try to also assess your plans as you can lah. How big the enemy, what kind of enemy assets, the enemy punya character tu semua. That assessment of all the enemy will help you plan better. How big the enemy is, what kind of weapons, whether it's at night or morning, those are the things that you need to assess in terms of the risk and all that to help you plan. After that, you can also start to think about where, once you set up a certain place, or if you know ahead of time, certain things that you need to also help your team, especially if you're a PL, to get all your squad leads to understand that you would have to have a certain resupply point, atau a medical aid point or something like that. Like when you get into a phase two, let's say you open up your map already, after you pass phase two punya line and you're going to go into arteria, you would say, okay, from here I'm going to set this area, this church here as the medical point. Okay, Takif, no issue. We're going to be finishing in the next 10 minutes or so anyways, but go ahead. All right, so that medical point at this church is already set. Any casualties ke bawa all the way to this and drop them off at this church on the east side of Arteria. Or if you can, you prefer right smack in the middle, there's another church here, you can also do that lah. But usually you try to take it out of where the action is before, so that you can have you can have better place to recover people. Atau factory ni pun boleh as a medic point. Or you can say factory this is your medic point. This would be your resupply point or something like that. So you have to also know areas that you can set up as certain points. Forward, they call it the FOB. You can set up a forward operating base, because let's say Arteria is only objective one, then you need to go further north to, let's say, Frini. At about, if I'm not mistaken, it's about 2 clicks, no, 20 clicks to northeast. There's another area here. So this is your objective two. So from objective two, you have now captured you pass phase three punya line, and you may actually want to just set this church here as called a FOB. FOB means most of the time FOB means is where you end up asking people to have a resupply point. That's where usually the PL will set up. Dia akan set shop sana, and all his RTOs will be set shop there, while the rest of the team, Alpha Bravo ke Charlie ke masuk to Frini. So set up FOBs, set up resupply points, set up medical aid stations, stuff like that. You have to remember lah. And then let's not forget when you go through the whole entire thing, also understand your plan punya breakdown too. Meaning, in other words, you have to start assessing berapa casualties you sudah ada. Let's say if your whole entire platoon has reached a point whereby there's 70% of casualties, that's when you have to have a different call already as a platoon lead. The platoon lead will say, okay, everyone retreat back to point B, set up shop at and or come back to the FOB, and then FOB there, regroup, replan, and see how you can go and retrieve the people who are down, and so on. So you have to replan again already. So that's based on your plan breakdown in terms of casualties, what kind of assets you have, how much fuel you have somewhere, and all so on and so forth. All right. Call in support. Jangan lupa call in support. As PL ke, as SQL ke, you do have support. You have CAS, you have Medivacs, you have RT, you have resupply. You ada Intel update mungkin, ada orang sudah update punya Intel ke, you can ask all that. You have drones, kalau ada. Let's not forget, you ada sniper, you ada armor, you ada boats. Semua ni semua support now. And let's not forget that I do find that in the midst of battle, banyak tu happening semua is all the confusion and all that. We forget to use the support. Okay, so always remember when there is support, call for it, exploit it. It's free. It's up there. It's supported by the Arma government. So don't worry, use it. And the missiles up there and all that is all standing by at your disposal.
Free to use hellfire.
Don't ask for kamikaze cukup ah.
Help from above.
Okay, I have pretty much reached the full 5 sections of our leadership already in detail as much as I can. Now, there's a lot to take it. Banyak ni info, is like info overload. But what's good is that if you have all this 5 punya section, which I will quickly put it up as a document as how I've done with most of the other courses from comms. I believe medical we're going to do also. We're going to put it up. It's something that I'll post up so that you can always just glance it and use it as a reference. That you have now gone through the discussion and also the leadership course in terms of a very theoretical. Uh, you can always like review that document and say, oh yeah, I lupa tu, and try it out, and go through that with games with us and all that when you do take up all the leadership position. All right, and it's good because why I put a document up there and why we go through this leadership course is to align everybody to do a standard way of doing it as much as we can, so that you will start to notice that kita punya gameplay lain kali as a leader, everyone like let's say Takif you sudah keluar kada tak ada is like let's say yes Yaz uh, would do something that Asura is doing the same thing, Pansy and Dom will also do the same thing. It's like not that uh, you all have your own style, but at least there is a structure rather than Dom you do something all the way from totally different and unique, and Asura you do something totally different and all that. Then every game we play, that's very difficult to learn from mistakes because we don't know where to even begin because everyone has its own style. So if you follow a structure like this, and you guys are long time players, most of you here are playing long time already, and most of you have taken leadership roles. Uh, Following this structure, you will start to see that the new players or the more of the newbies and the people come, they would start to feel that this is fun. It's not the usual touch and go punya games like obviously it's not PUBG and all that, but they will feel that whoa, this is something different, and everyone, even when let's say someone takes up the leadership, oh, they go through this, the same way as Panzi you take up, oi, sama je dia buat. So dia punya structure tu will impress also lah. Okay. Okay, anything to help out and add, Azad? Anything from your side that I missed out? You think I missed out anything?
I think from the apa ni semua dah lengkap dah. Cuma maybe a few tactics or I mean a few techniques in leadership. Yeah, I can add to it. Okay guys, semua dengar ke?
Dengar. Bless you.
Alright, okay. One thing is kalau korang nak lead, make sure korang confident in yourself, in your plan. Okay, when you want to arahkan seorang, you have to be confident, you have to be final, you have to be simple, you have to be direct to the point. Contoh, one row, pergi belakang je ambil aku kopi. Okay, that's an order. Walaupun aku tak kenal one row, mungkin one row ni dia punya rank lagi tinggi daripada aku kat luar. Mungkin one row lagi tinggi daripada aku kat luar. Tapi because of that kind of methodology, because you bagi arahan yang secara direct, confident, ringkas, mudah, penyampaian dia pun mudah, people follow you. Okay, that's having the right technique of leadership is very very important. But also important is orang kena confident to ikut you. So kalau you confident, anak buah you confident. Okay, trust me, benda ni it comes naturally as you go along. The more you practice, the more you jadi SL, TL, PL, the more it comes to you. So seriously guys, jangan malu-malu, jangan segan-segan. Once you have the chance, please do. Ambil peluang tu. Because kalau tak, kita akan nampak orang yang sama je. The same people again and again yang lead. Dom sampai sekarang, after dah kena PTSD beberapa kali dia lead juga. Okay? So, it's very important that you do that. Okay, get a good rapport with your man. Bila you nak bagi arahan, pastikan arahan tu bertepatan. This is very important, especially bila you lead veterans. Okay. Sorry? Sorry, what was that, sir?
Sorry, nothing.
So macam kadang-kadang you lead a group of veterans, orang-orang yang you tak biasa ataupun orang yang you rasa lagi pengalaman dengan you. Some people akan rasa gentar dan takut. Some people might, oh lama nak arahkan boleh ke ni. I do get that too bila aku first start dulu. But then, it's simple as bagi dia orang arahan, bagi dia orang directive, be clear, be concise and be confident about it. Okay, dan dia orang akan ikut. Paling mudah Abang Syam. Abang Syam, kalau you guys, he is one of the best players around. Dari segi tracking, tak ada orang boleh kalahkan dia. He's a tracker, he's very capable, his awareness is very high. Tapi kalau korang tak pandai kalau guna pakai tu macam lah ni spana kan. Kalau korang tak pandai utilize dia, tak pandai direct dia, kadang-kadang you are wasting a good asset. So macam Abang Syam, okay, put him, okay Abang Syam take point, move us up 100 meter and then hold. Okay, dia buat 100 meter dia hold. Padahal Abang Syam tu veteran, aku budak je compare dengan Abang Syam. But that's how you do it. You give them direct orders and be clear about it. Okay? Now, siapa yang kat sini yang tak pernah PL lagi?
Amirul diri.
Syam diri. Okay, so next mission Amirul PL, confirm. Tapi tak, I mean seriously, if you haven't been PL, try it for once. PL dia kurang dari segi tactical leadership, more on what do you call that, strategical leadership. You decide what to do, where to go, how it's done, and then you sub-delegate pada orang. And guys, kalau boleh minta tolong, since you leaders here, people will follow on your example. Okay, anak buah akan ikut you. So for example, kalau katakan okay tak, you guys reply okay. When you reply okay, anak buah you pun akan tahu okay, when we are prompted we will reply. And that makes it a lot easier. Okay, yang tu sangat-sangat penting. Impress on anyone on your leader ataupun anak buah you mana-mana pun, cakap kat dia please reply once given order or prompted. Okay, it's very very important. Macam korang pun sendiri, korang dah, you are leader materials already. So kalau katakan I cakap okay, korang dengar tak, everybody has to reply okay, dengar. You copy, I copy. Lima Charlie and all that. Communication is very important, and communication starts with you. Kalau you tak communicate, anak buah you nak communicate macam mana? Dan anak buah ni dia macam kuda. They will sense fear. Kalau you tak bercakap dia orang pun macam so treat them, make sure you talk to them, they will talk back to you. And it's very very important to do that. Macam kalau for me, my unit Spectre, kita orang we are very close knit and we help each other up, check and balance. So it's very important for you to choose your second IC well. Bila you masuk medan, if you have a good second IC, then you've got nothing to worry about. You go down, they terus take over tanpa diberitahu. Tak payah nak type ke chat pun. As long as they tahu you're down, terus take over. Contoh, I have to give example, bukan nak agungkan Mamat ni sangat, tapi macam Panji. Panji knows his shit.
Adat.
Alah, mengajuk. Tapi Panji duk kerap main kau 2-3 hari tak lama tak bak. Tapi Asura, Panji, Amirul, these are my own boys lah. Dan diorang, they know very well. Once I go down, they take over. And kadang-kadang I'm in the middle of something, I cannot talk to the actual, diorang akan reply on my behalf. So it's very important to have people like this, people who will help you out in a mission. Okay, orang-orang ni semua dia boleh menggembling tenaga. Like Gadget said, if you're PL, you don't want to micromanage. If you're SL, you don't also want to micromanage. Let your team leaders do their shit. But please make sure you give them clear and concise orders. Be calm, be collected, and be clear. Also, lagi satu benda tip korang jangan sangat boleh communicate. Okay, when you need to give orders, I give one very good example. Kalau korang tengok mission semalam, Zeno had a very good communications system semalam. He was very clear, straight to the point. Tak ada tak. Duduklah Lahnat. Rasa bagus pula. But it's something you can contohi. So when Zeno cakap, okay, guys, gerak mana, That was very good, very clear. And orang yang terima tu tak akan broke or question depan. It's easy understood, it's easily acceptable. Kalau you cakap benda yang macam agak vague, masalah. Contohnya, okay Nizam, kau pergi depan tu, kau try tengok keliling tu okay tak? It's very vague tau. Nizam macam, aku nak buat apa pergi depan tu, nak buat apa? Macam kalau bagi, okay, Nizam, get up ahead, get eyes on area tu, nampak clear ke tidak? Then he will go and he check, okay clear, dia akan come back to me.
Yes, sir.
That's how it's done. Kau duduk sini lah kan. Tembak sekarang. Also guys, apa-apa itu benda nak pesan, however the game is, still a game. Okay, jangan sampai bab bergaduh. Jangan sampai nak cabar each other, nak marah maki-maki. There's a level to it. Okay, and even if I punya style jenis yang maki-maki ni, bising-bising mulut I bunyi kasar, but you know, I do it in a playful manner. So in the end, everyone tak terasa sangat. But at the same time, bila it's game time, it's go time, don't tahu to get serious. It's very important for you to do that. Mana-mana yang lebih muda, contohnya Hakim, Hakim muda.
Hello.
Muda.
Abang dah. Dia
Muka
baru
macam
14.
Banyak
Macam
foto
pakcik
awet
budak.
pun ke.
Oh,
Tapi things about you young guys, okay, you can lead, tak ada masalah. But be concise, be clear at the same time. Listen to comments, listen to input, so you guys can take it in and be more effective. Okay. Even aku sendiri pun kadang bila aku plan, Asura kata, Zat, aku tak setuju dengan idea ni. Then I take into consideration his plan and aku ubah accordingly. That's how it's done. So okay, tu ada apa-apa soalan, ada benda yang korang tak faham, ada benda yang korang tak clear, ada benda yang korang nak tanya pendapat, sila tanya sekarang. This is the time. Because leadership punya bengkel ni bukan selalu buat. Bengkel.
See, this one is very summarized lah. Kalau you mau buat betul-betul punya leadership course tu is like a full course punya. Dia punya from books and all that, leadership punya buku, in terms of military punya leadership punya buku and all that. You take like a 3-day course lah. Tapi this is the most basic that you pick up, and it's very rewarding kalau you do it and try it and experience yourself. And you know, it's a different gameplay. It's responsibilities on you. People look up to you in terms of what to do and all that. It gives you confidence in real life also. So you know, pick it up and enjoy it, obviously. And yeah, that's it. All right. Just have some curiosity pun. A lot of things senang dapat sekarang. Tak payah beli pun. You masuk to Google. You just go to YouTube. I think if you guys know my punya YouTube punya page, there is one section there under I think it's under leadership itself, Arma leadership. What I did is over the time I tengok banyak different video, aku collect, aku save kat sana, the good ones, because that's why a lot of I sudah filter yang all the nonsense, the one tak payah, don't bother, waste your time. The really good ones I put it in there. So there is a lot of links there that I put under the category that links to the best ones I think that I've seen lah. Right, just refer to those. I can later on link that, relink dia punya address later on at Facebook. Then you can just look through. Those are done by other people, and the other people punya leadership course too will be similar to what you hear today. But that one too detail habis. They most likely, most of them come from the US side. Dia punya clan kat sana, or dia punya group kat sana is pure musim lah. That means mereka main sampai ada ranking semua tu, and you know their leadership course tu is like literally an extract from Marines punya buku and all that one. So I'll link it up for you guys. So before, I think pukul 12 dah. I think we sorry kita start lambat by right. So I was supposed to have some exercise in the map for you to start doing a certain simple mission planning, at least by a few of you. but not today lah. Tak ada lah. But otherwise, uh, anything that you guys want to highlight? What is the thing that stuck in your mind from today's course? Dia banyak info, but what is the one that you guys remember? Anybody can say a few things from section 1 to section 5. Tadi aku cakap banyak things. Which one that sticks in your mind? Tak ada. I wasted all my time.
Oi, ni leaders ni, come on. Kata leaders, come on.
Retreat lah, retreat. Tu je aku ingat.
Retreat ah.
Lambat masuk.
Aku ingat pasal
Then the
bounding
sectors,
Yang apa tu?
movement.
line
bounding.
phase,
Bounding. What else? Dom?
staging, the line staging for
Phases.
Yes.
for
Okay.
instance, phases. My bad, not
Phases.
stages.
Yep.
Phases.
Yeah, you can call it
Yes.
stages if you want. It doesn't matter. You don't have to follow. But yeah, specifically what you know what it means is good enough. Lagi?
Over planning.
Don't overplan. Right.
No.
Yep.
Pembahagian unit.
How you break it up in terms of make sure that your that means that means you bahagiankan, tapi you punya bahagiankan, that means macam you punya second IC bahagi dah, you punya second IC jangan tunggu sampai you mati je dia take over tau. Those are the things. So make sure you bagi second IC ada fungsi. Bahagian lagi. Anything else?
Don't micromanage.
Yes, don't micromanage. Don't
Believe
be,
in your squad.
what is that?
Believe in your squad mates.
Trust in them. Like that. Trust that they know to do their job. Lagi tu.
Use utilities like apa ni, Hilo to call scarce or so on.
You punya assets. Kalau ada armor,
Assets.
ada artillery, guna semua. And the only way to know how to use it is to understand dia punya strengths and weaknesses of each. Like kalau you in the middle of the bandar, obviously you punya laws of war ada masuk, you punya cash sudah tak boleh guna dah. So what's next? You know what is good for you. You can use cash for securing outside the perimeter macam tu. Anything else?
Remember when to retreat.
That's one of the
So the most
most.
important thing is to trust and confident with your teammates.
Yeah, that one I
To
think
trust your leaders.
you have to trust them, but I believe to trust them also, all of us here sudah senior, we also need to see yang those that are not here, macam most of the people who are just started, all of us should start to give them advice as we go along, so that they know what to do also, so then it's easier for you to trust also lah, right? But otherwise they are not children lah. Some of them are students ke, but they are old enough to know what the hell they are doing lah. If you not, unless they're completely new in AMA lah, that one okay. Don't blame them lah. Otherwise, as I think 18 tahun is grown adult already. You can trust them already. Okay. Anything else? METT-TC, tak ada orang ingat tu lah. Tu pun penting METT-TC. Look it up lah. METT-TC, METT-TC. Tu is very
Aku
important.
dah bagi link tadi dekat dalam TS channel.
METT-TC, METT-TC. That's the most basic kat depan dah. Before the mission start, this is the thing that you need to consider already. Any of the planning, these are the things you need to consider so that you can plan proper. You punya mission, you punya enemy, you punya terrain that you're going to go on to, what are the troops available, apa what's the time, and obviously the last one C is what is the civilian consideration. METT-TC tu penting.
Okay.
Right? So remember, keep calm. Don't panic. Whatever shit happens, keep calm, because you need to lead. When you are to lead, you have to be calm. The keeping the cool, and a plan is a plan. A bad plan is better than no plan. Okay?
Sometimes exercise family planning. That's different.
Laws of war. Okay, kalau tak ada, I think we can break from this course. Thank you for showing up, and thank you for being so patient. I know this one is just a very lecture punya style, but banyak of it theory and all, Otherwise, please check whether Kabe dengan the newbies ada. You boleh go there and join them if you need to. Otherwise, I call it. Thank you so much, guys, for attending. Cheers. Cheers, guys.
Alamak.
Class
Oh,
dismissed. Class
Yes.
dismissed.
Sini jap. Asura, Panji, Mirul.
Okay.
Nizam